Did you know using your browser in incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? Take back your privacy with IPVanish VPN. Just one tap and all your data, passwords, communications, browsing history, and more will be instantly protected. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. Use IPVanish on all your devices, anytime you go online at home and especially on public Wi-Fi. Get IPVanish now for 70% off a yearly plan with this exclusive offer at ipvanish.com/audio.
Welcome back to Astronomy Daily, your daily dive into the cosmos. I'm Anna.
And I'm Avery. We're so glad you could join us today for another fascinating journey through the latest in space and astronomy news.
Today, we're going to travel light years away to discuss new findings about a distant exoplanet that's not quite Earth's twin.
Then we'll shift gears and get down to Earth, specifically to Colorado, where a new lunar surface simulator is putting moon machinery to the test.
And for those interested in the policy side of space, we'll be looking at a controversial executive order aiming to cut red tape for commercial rocket launches.
Finally, we'll marvel at a cosmic giant caught in the act of waking up, billions of light years away, giving us unprecedented insight into black holes.
Kicking off our news, let's talk about exoplanets, specifically one that has long captivated astronomers searching for life beyond our solar system, Trappist 1d. This planet is incredibly intriguing because it's similar in size to Earth, it's rocky, and it resides in an area around its star where liquid water on its surface is theoretically possible.
That sounds incredibly promising, like a real contender for another habitable world. What's the latest?
Well, Avery, a new study using data from the NASA ESA CSA James Webb Space Telescope has unfortunately delivered some sobering news. Despite all those promising characteristics, Trappist 1d does not have an Earth-like atmosphere.
Oh, that's a bit of a letdown. An atmosphere is pretty crucial for habitability, isn't it?
Absolutely. A protective atmosphere, along with a friendly star and liquid water, is what makes Earth so special. Astronomers are really on a mission with Webb to determine just how unique our home planet is. Caroline Pialet-Gorieb, the lead author of the study, put it clearly, stating that while Webb is allowing them to explore this question for Earth-sized planets for the first time, they can now rule out Trappist 1d from a list of potential Earth twins or cousins.
So what exactly did Webb's instruments find, or rather, not find?
Webb's near-infrared spectroscope, or NIRSPEC instrument, did not detect molecules common in Earth's atmosphere, like water, methane, or carbon dioxide. Pialet-Gorieb outlined a few possibilities for Trappist 1d. It could have an extremely thin atmosphere, similar to Mars, or perhaps very thick, high-altitude clouds like Venus that are blocking their detection of specific atmospheric signatures. Or it could simply be a barren rock with no atmosphere at all.
That's quite a range of possibilities, from Mars-like to Venus-like, or even completely barren.
Indeed. And it highlights some of the inherent challenges of planets orbiting red dwarf stars like TRAPPIST-1. This star, while dim and relatively cold, is known to be quite volatile. It often releases flares of high-energy radiation, which have the potential to strip away the atmospheres of its small planets, especially those orbiting closest.
Right, so even if a planet starts with an atmosphere, these stellar flares could just blast it away over time. But why are scientists still so motivated to look for atmospheres around these specific planets?
Because red dwarf stars are the most common stars in our galaxy. If planets can hold on to an atmosphere in such a harsh environment, under waves of intense stellar radiation, it really changes our understanding of where life might be possible. Bjorn Benneke, a co-author of the study, mentioned that Webb's sensitive infrared instruments are allowing them to delve into the atmospheres of these smaller, colder planets for the first time. They're just starting to define the line between planets that can hold on to an atmosphere and those that can't.
So is all hope lost for the TRAPPIST-1 system as a whole? Are there any other planets in that system that might still be candidates for an atmosphere?
Not at all. In fact, Webb observations of the outer TRAPPIST-1 planets are still ongoing. Planets E, F, G, and H are further away from the energetic eruptions of their host star, which means they might have a better chance of retaining their atmospheres.
That's encouraging. So there's still a chance for the TRAPPIST-1 system to host worlds with significant atmospheres, even if TRAPPIST-1d isn't one of them.
Exactly. As Pialet Gahaleb said, all hope is not lost for atmospheres around the TRAPPIST 1 planets. While they didn't find a strong atmospheric signature at planet D, there's still potential for the outer planets to hold on to a lot of water and other atmospheric components. Ryan McDonald, another co-author, emphasized that their detective work is just beginning, and this research reinforces how truly special Earth is in the cosmos.
Speaking of special places and innovative research, let's pivot from distant exoplanets to something a little closer to home, but still very much out of this world, the moon. There's an impressive new facility in Colorado that's literally bringing the lunar surface down to Earth.
That's right, Avery. The Colorado School of Mines has built a massive simulated moonscape, and it's being put to work testing lunar rovers, evaluating lunar landing and launch pads, excavation gear, and all sorts of other hardware for future moon missions. It's all about getting a practical understanding of how to work effectively with robotic spacecraft on the lunar surface.
A simulated moonscape. That sounds fascinating. How large is the facility?
It's quite substantial. Ian Jean, an adjunct professor and structural engineer at the school, confirmed that the mine's lunar surface simulator is up and running and being used almost daily. They've filled it with over 110 tons, or 100 metric tons, of lunar regolith simulant. Imagine having that much simulated moon dust.
Wow, that's a lot of simulant. What kind of projects are they running there currently?
One of the key projects underway is called ASPECT, which stands for Autonomous Site Preparation, Excavation, Compaction, and Testing. It's part of NASA's Lunar Surface Technology Research Program, aiming to demonstrate automated lunar site preparation. The ASPECT rover is fully autonomous and equipped for regolith excavation, moving boulders, and surface compaction.
That's crucial for future lunar bases and sustained presence on the moon. Building such a unique facility must have presented a lot of challenges.
Absolutely. Chris Dreyer, Director of Engineering at the Colorado School of Mines Center for Space Resources, highlighted several. Beyond sourcing such a large quantity of high-quality lunar regolith simulant affordably, the structure itself needed to be dust-tight and waterproof. They even built a gantry system inside to track rover movements. And an assistant professor, Frankie Zhu, developed a motion capture system to model rover mobility.
So it's not just a big sandbox, it's a meticulously engineered testing environment.
Exactly. Dreyer noted that the entire process, from planning to construction, took over a year, and he now understands why there are so few equivalent test beds globally. It's a testament to the complexity and dedication involved, but it's also open for innovation, attracting external partners.
That's really smart, creating a resource for the broader commercial space industry. Are companies already using it?
Yes, indeed. A Colorado-based company is building robotic infrastructure, including a rover called Eagle, with the goal of opening the moon for further exploration and commercial activity. Interloon, a Seattle-based startup focused on commercializing space resources, like harvesting helium-3 from the moon, is also interested. And Neurospace GmbH from Berlin recently evaluated its modular rover platform, the Hiver, at the facility.
So this isn't just about NASA or government missions. It's a hub for private companies looking to make their mark on the moon too.
Precisely. Irene Selvanathan, CEO of Neurospace, mentioned they're identifying the minimum technology needed to build inexpensive, affordable, and scalable rovers. The Hive R, for example, is modular, flexible, and can even repair itself. Dreyer reiterated that they're always looking for opportunities to support technology development from startups, established aerospace companies, and academia. He sees vast opportunities for the testbed in lunar excavation, construction, mobility, sensing, and dust mitigation.
This simulator truly sounds like a cornerstone for future lunar exploration and commercial endeavors. enabling companies to test their innovations right here on Earth before sending them to the moon.
Absolutely, Avery. And speaking of testing things before they head to space, our next story deals with how we're regulating those very launches here on Earth. There's been some significant news regarding changes to the rules governing commercial rocket launches.
Yes, it's a topic that's often debated in the space industry. The balance between fostering rapid innovation and ensuring safety and environmental protection. President Donald Trump recently signed an executive order that's stirring up a lot of discussion about exactly that.
That's right. On Wednesday, President Trump signed an executive order directing government agencies to eliminate or expedite environmental reviews for commercial launch and re-entry licenses. The Federal Aviation Administration, or FAA, which is part of the Department of Transportation, is the primary agency that grants these licenses.
So the goal is to reduce what's often referred to as red tape for companies in the commercial space sector?
Precisely. This push for deregulation is expected to be particularly welcomed by companies like SpaceX, which conducts the vast majority of commercial launches and re-entries licensed by the FAA. The order specifically directs Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, who's also the acting administrator of NASA, to use all available authorities to fast-track these environmental reviews.
And it's not just about environmental reviews, is it? I recall there were also regulations that the industry found burdensome.
You're spot on. The executive order also includes a clause directing Duffy to reevaluate, amend, or even rescind a set of launch safety regulations known as Part 450. These rules were actually written during the first Trump administration and went into effect in 2021. But space companies have since complained they are too cumbersome and have actually slowed down the license approval process.
So a past attempt at streamlining ironically created new hurdles. What else does the order aim to achieve?
It goes further. Trump ordered NASA, the military, and the Department of Transportation to eliminate duplicative reviews for spaceport development, especially at federally owned launch ranges like Cape Canaveral in Florida or Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. The administration also plans to make the head of the FAA's Office of Commercial Space Transportation a political appointee rather than a career civil servant, and elevate the Office of Space Commerce.
It sounds like a comprehensive effort to reshape the regulatory landscape for commercial spaceflight. What's the stated policy goal behind all these changes?
The executive order clearly states it is the policy of the United States to enhance American greatness in space by enabling a competitive launch marketplace and substantially increasing commercial space launch cadence and novel space activities by 2030. Essentially, they want to streamline approvals to boost the U.S.-based operators. However, as with any significant policy change, there's always a flip side and concerns raised. What have environmental groups said about this order?
There's been significant criticism. Jared Margolis, a senior attorney for the Center for Biological Diversity, voiced strong opposition, stating that this reckless order puts people and wildlife at risk from private companies launching giant rockets that often explode and wreak devastation on surrounding areas. He added that bending the knee to powerful corporations by allowing federal agencies to ignore bedrock environmental laws is incredibly dangerous and puts all of us in harm's way.
So the concern is that expediting these reviews might compromise environmental safeguards and public safety. Exactly. The changes to the environmental review process, particularly regarding the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA, are considered the most controversial part of the order. NEPA requires federal agencies to evaluate the environmental effects of their actions. The White House has directed the Transportation Department to identify activities not subject to NEPA and establish exclusions for launch and re-entry licenses.
On the other hand, those in favor argue that these changes are vital for the growth and competitiveness of the U.S. space industry.
That's the perspective from Secretary Duffy, who argued the order is important to sustain economic growth. He said by slashing red tape tying up spaceport construction, streamlining launch licenses so they can occur at scale, and creating high-level space positions in governments, we can unleash the next wave of innovation. Laura Forsick, founder of the space consulting firm Astrolytical, also noted that while the Biden administration knew reforms were needed for commercial launch regulations, little was done, and she hopes this executive order will spur more action.
And what about the industry itself?
Dave Cavosa, president of the Commercial Spaceflight Federation, applauded the move, stating that it will strengthen and grow the U.S. commercial space industry by cutting red tape while maintaining a commitment to public safety. It's interesting to note that while the NEPA aspect is controversial, the attempt to reform or rescind the Part 450 launch and reentry regulations actually appears to have bipartisan support in Congress.
So there's a recognized need for regulatory efficiency, but the specific approach, especially concerning environmental oversight, is where the disagreement lies.
Yes, and the order even seeks to limit the authority of state officials in enforcing their own environmental rules related to spaceport construction or operation. This is especially relevant after the California Coastal Commission recently rejected a proposal by SpaceX to double its launch cadence at Vandenberg Space Force Base.
This really highlights the complex interplay between federal policy, state regulations, and the rapidly advancing private space industry. It's clear that finding the right balance will be an ongoing challenge.
It definitely is, Avery. And moving from the complexities of earthbound regulations to the truly cosmic, our next story takes us billions of light years away to witness something incredible, a supermassive black hole caught in the very act of switching on.
That sounds absolutely fascinating, Anna. A black hole waking up. That's quite an image. Tell us more about this cosmic alarm clock.
This discovery centers on a galaxy cluster called CHIPS 1911 plus 4455, located an incredible 6 billion light years from Earth. At its heart lies a supermassive black hole that has only recently turned on, roughly 1,000 years ago. While that might sound like a long time to us, in astronomical terms, it's truly just a blink of an eye. Lead researcher Francesco Ubertosi from the University of Bologna described it as like watching a sleeping giant wake up. The team used an array of powerful telescopes, including the Very Long Baseline Array and Very Large Array, to peer deep into space with remarkable precision. Imagine being able to read a newspaper in Los Angeles while standing in New York. That's the kind of detail they achieved.
That's an astonishing level of detail. So, what makes this newly awakened black hole so special compared to others?
What's unique is that it's essentially a newborn in terms of its activity. The jets of material it's shooting out extend only about 100 light years from its center. While that sounds like enormous, it's actually tiny by black hole standards. Mature black holes in similar systems can create jets stretching for tens of thousands of light years. Most black holes astronomers study have been active for millions of years, which makes it very difficult to understand how they first begin to influence their surroundings. This newly awakened black hole provides a unique before picture, showing scientists what happens in the earliest stages of black hole activity.
So, it's like a cosmic laboratory, allowing them to study the very first moments of a black hole's influence.
Precisely. Co-author Miriam Giddy from the University of Bologna noted that the jets are so young and small that they haven't had time to push away the surrounding hot gas. This creates a perfect natural laboratory for studying how black holes first begin to influence their cosmic neighborhood. And here's another intriguing detail. While the black hole itself is just waking up, the galaxy around it is anything but sleepy. This galaxy is creating new stars at an astounding rate, between 140 and 190 times the mass of our sun every single year.
That's an incredible rate. For perspective, our entire Milky Way galaxy only forms about one sun's worth of stars annually.
Exactly. The researchers believe they may actually be witnessing this smoking gun of how black holes get triggered in the first place. The hot gas surrounding this black hole is cooling very efficiently, which potentially provides the fuel needed to wake up the black hole.
That makes sense. It's like pouring fuel onto a fire. So, understanding how supermassive black holes wake up must have significant implications for our understanding of the universe.
Absolutely. Understanding how they wake up helps solve fundamental questions about how galaxies evolve. These black holes play a crucial role in regulating star formation and shaping the largest structures in the universe. By catching one in the act of awakening, it's possible to finally study this process as it unfolds, rather than just seeing the end result.
And I imagine this kind of discovery requires combining data from multiple sources.
It did. The discovery required combining observations from multiple telescopes, each providing different pieces of the puzzle. Some offered ultra-high resolution to see the tiny jets, while others provided the sensitivity needed to detect faint signals from star formation. As the research team continues, they hope to watch how this black hole evolves over time and find more similar systems. This could truly revolutionize our understanding of how the universe's most powerful objects first begin to shape the cosmos around them.
What an incredible journey we've had today, from the intriguing yet ultimately not Earth-like Trappist 1D to the innovative lunar surface simulator here on Earth.
And let's not forget the important discussion about commercial space regulations and the truly groundbreaking discovery of a black hole caught in the act of awakening. It's been a packed episode of Cosmic Insights.
It certainly has, Anna. We hope all our listeners enjoyed today's exploration of the universe's latest news. Thank you for tuning in to Astronomy Daily.
And we look forward to bringing you more fascinating stories from across the cosmos very soon. Until next time, space explorers, keep looking up at our wonderful cosmos.